afternoon to all of you. Madam, with your kind permission, can we start the session?
Yes.
Oh.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam. A very pleasant greeting to the second season's second edition of the UNESCO Chair Lecture Series on Digital Divide in Gender Space. I, Mrs. Soma Mitra, Registrar IIMT Bhubaneswar, and the coordinator for UNESCO Chair Lecture Series, welcome all eminent speakers, guests, and participants to this podium. Today, we are fortunate enough to have Professor Francisco Vigliarello, Director and UNESCO Chair, Professor, National University of La Plata, Argentina. He would be joining us soon. We are even having an eminent speaker. Our speaker of today, Professor Dr. Sucheta Priyabadini, Chair Professor MRTC, Ramadevi Women's University, Bhubaneswar, Odisha. Professor Dr. Shrikant Patnaik, Director IIMT and Adjunct Professor UNESCO Chair on Economic System and Human Rights. At the National University of La Plata, and Dr. Pramod Kumar Prusty, Principal, IIMT Bhubaneswar, with us. Let me now quickly take you on a tour to this second season's second edition of UNESCO Chair Lecture Series. We will start the session with a very nice explorer about the digital divide in gender space, where we will explore how globally women are placed or benefited from digital literacy. But due to certain circumstances, they are barred from it. We will have an insight about addressing the digital divide not only benefits women, but it will also provide broader economic and social aspects and its progress to the society. We will start the session with the introduction of guests and speakers, followed by a quick tour of IIMT Bhubaneswar, where participants will gain an insight into the institution's innovative program and the state-of-the-art facilities by Dr. Pramod Kumar Prusty, Principal, IIMT Bhubaneswar. Then we will have an introductory remark by Professor Francisco Vigliarello, followed by a talk on digital divide in gender space by our today's speaker, Professor Dr. Sucheta Priyabadini, a concluding remark by Professor Dr. Shrikant Patnaik, just few minutes before he had sent us a message that he would be joining us soon as he was a bit occupied in one of the other meeting. As soon as the meeting will complete, he will be joining us in this podium. And we will end with a feedback cum interaction session. Let me now take you on a quick tour and the complete journey which we have started during our first season. We have started this UNESCO Chair Lecture Series with our first season, and the first edition was honored by Professor Francisco Vigliarello, Sri Suresh Sarangi, Professor Dr. Kamla Prasad Mahapatra, and Dr. Chitranjan Mishra. During our second edition, which we have conducted on December 2nd, 2023, Professor Otto Harman, Sri Shubhrat Kumar Prusty, and Professor Susant Kumar Naik were our speakers. During our third edition, which we have conducted during January 6, 2024, Professor Francisco Vigliarello, Professor Massimo Franchi, Professor Dr. Sanjeev Kumar Jena, and Sri Ramakrishna Vupalaru were the speakers. During our fourth edition, which we have conducted during February 5th, 2024, Professor Francisco Vigliarello, Sri Ravi Shankar Behra, and Sri Sanu Das were our speakers. During our fifth edition on March 2nd, 2024, Sri Ananta Charan Swami was our speaker. During our sixth edition, which we have conducted on April 6, 2024, Professor Francisco Vigliarello, Sri Chaktananda were our eminent speakers. During our seventh edition, which we have conducted on 10th May 2024. Professor Francisco Vigliarolo and Professor Sir Otto Herman were our speakers. During our 8th edition, it was graced on 1st June 2024. Professor Srikant Patnaik was our speaker. During our 9th edition, which we had conducted on July 5th, 2024, Dr. Ranjana Bajpayee was our speaker. During the 12th, 10th, and the 11th edition, which we have conducted on September 20th, 2024, Professor Andrew W.H. Ip and Dr. Wu Chu Hu Chan was our speaker. And we have concluded this first season on 18th October 2024, where Dr. Bala Lakhendra was our speaker. We have started the second season on 2nd November 2024, and the first edition was graced by Dr. Manoj Kumar Das. Today, we are having our today's speaker, Professor Dr. Sucheta Priyabadani, Chair Professor MRDC, Ramadevi Women's University, Bhubaneswar, India, with us. Let me now take the privilege of today's platform and introduce Professor Dr. Sucheta Priyabadani formally to our audience. I am very much honored to introduce in front of you Professor Dr. Sucheta Priyabadani. Professor Dr. Sucheta Priyabadani is an accomplished academician whose career in social sciences began at Utkal University, Odisha, where she excelled in both graduation and post-graduation, topping her class. She earned her PhD from Utkal University and her doctor in literature from KIT University. Her pursuit of knowledge led her to Monash University, Melbourne in 2010, where she conducted postdoctoral research under the Endeavour Research Award from the Australian government. Professor Priyabadani's research predominantly focused on gender and women's studies, with numerous publications in national and international journals, books, and presentation at prestigious institutions. Among her notable works, she presented a paper on feminine power, spirituality, and human well-being at the 63rd Annual UN BPI NGO Conference in Melbourne. She has guided 3 PhD scholars and 4 MPhil dissertations and has over 100 research articles and 2 Indian patents, with 1 UK patent to her credit. Recently, she published Women Influencers of Odisha, which contains contribution of Odia women across history. In 2019, she undertook a cross-cultural research project in South Korea, further broadening her academic influence. Dr. Sucheta Priyabadani is not only completed out with this much aspect, rather she has went beyond academics. Professor Priyabadani's love for music and fine arts has earned her state and national applause. Her illustrious career includes Australia Award Ambassador in 2015 and joining the board of directors at Australia India Bridge Foundation, Melbourne in 2020. Her awards include the Chosati Yogini Award for Art in 2020, Nistha Women's Achievers Award for Education and Research in 2021, and Dr. Sarojini Naidu International Award for Education in 2020. Currently, she serves as the Ma Ramadevi Devi Chair Professor at Ramadevi Women's University, Bhubaneswar, contributing to academic excellence and mental wellness with 34 years of dedicated experience in education and student affairs. Today, we are very much fortunate enough to have Dr. Priyabadani with us, and we would love to listen her talk on how digital divide in gender space is going to influence our style. I would be, even if very much happy to introduce Professor Dr. Shrikant Patnaik, Director IIMT and Adjunct Professor of UNESCO Chair on Economic System and Human Rights at the National University of La Plata, to our audience. Dr. Shrikant Patnaik, the founder and director of IIMT Bhubaneswar, holds an MBA from Sambalpur University in 1991 and a PhD in computational intelligence from Jadavpur University, India in 1999. With an extensive academic career, he has supervised various theses and master theses in computational intelligence, soft computing application, and re-engineering. Dr. Patnaik's scholarly contribution include more than 100 research papers in international journals and conference proceedings, along with authoring 3 textbooks and more than 100 edited volumes, including invited book chapters published by leading international publishers such as Springer Verlag, Kluwer Academic. He holds editorial position in various book series and journals, including those published by InterScience Publishing House, that is, International Journal of Information and Communication Technology, formerly known as IJICT, and International Journal of Computational Vision and Robotics, popularly known as IJCBR. It also includes publication from Springer and IGI Global, contributing significantly to the dissemination of knowledge in his field. Now, I would be requesting Professor Dr. Pramod Kumar Prusty, Principal IIMT, to give us an insight about InterScience Institute of Management and Technology. So, please.
Jai Jagannath, a very warm welcome and greetings to all of you. I am Professor Dr. Pramod Kumar Prusty, Principal, IIMT Bhubaneswar, Odisha, India. Take this privilege to brief you about our institute and its activities. IIMT Bhubaneswar, that is InterScience Institute of Management and Technology Bhubaneswar, was established in the year 2007 with an objective of teaching science of management in addition to the practice of management. The name itself explains about the scientific study of management, and further to mention that it is inscribed in our institute logo. At present, IIMT offers 2 years full-time course in MBA and MCA programs affiliated with Biju Patnaik University of Technology, Rourkela. Workshops, seminars, and conferences. Let me explain what do we mean by teaching science of management. During these 15 years of existence, we have organized, facilitated more than 100 symposium, seminar, workshops, national and international, in various niche area of management and technology. Book publications. Since our inception, we at the rate IIMT have edited and published more than 100 volumes in the area of management and technology. From reputed publishing houses like IEEE, ACM, Springer, Elsevier, iOS, SPY, Kluwer Academic, MDPI, Hindawi, or InterScience, etc. All these books are available for purchase from Google or Amazon. All our faculty members are engaged in these activities. Visiting professors. Each year, we invite and host professors from abroad for workshops and seminars. I am tempted to say that this year, Professor Jesus Garcia from Universidad Complutense de Madrid, Professor Vijayan Submaran from Oakland University School of Business, and Professor Vipul Jain was here from Victoria University, Wellington, for a month on a research exchange program during 2023. Professor Rajkumar Bhuya from the University of Melbourne have visited our institute during the month of August 2024. IIMT lecture notes on management. We publish management books through our own in-house publication, that is IIMT lecture notes on management, where we publish the essential books like self-management, career guidance, and emerging fields of management. IIMT Open House. We have started one channel, namely IIMT Open House in YouTube. The purpose is to educate students and parents at large on various subjects and disciplines through talks and interviews. By now, we have more than 100 episodes available at our YouTube channel, namely at the rate IIMT Open House. We have taken interviews with professors, professionals, entrepreneurs, and policymakers. InterScience Research Network, IRNet. We have created a platform known as InterScience Research Networks consisting of professionals and researchers. It is available at www.interscience.ac.in, through which we organize various programs inside and outside India. We do arrange workshops and seminars at various universities. IIMT is organizing an international conference on economic systems and human rights towards an economy of brotherhood, ESHR 2024, that is on May 17th and 18th, 2025, under the guidance of Professor Francisco Vigliarulo, UNESCO Chair Professor, Institute Network. Our institute is in the UNESCO Chair Professor Institute Network. Professor Florin Propentiu Vladisescu from City University of London, who is a UNESCO professor in the domain of information technology, visited our institute during 2016. Today, I am proud to say that we had successfully completed the first session of UNESCO Chair Professor on Economic Systems and Human Rights under the guidance of Professor Francisco Vigliarulo, and we were very much thankful to Professor Francisco Vigliarulo provide us with an opportunity to continue with the second session of the UNESCO Chair Lecture Series. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir, for the insight about the institute. And by this time, we are fortunate to have Professor Dr. Shrikant Patnaik with us. Welcome, sir, to the podium. May I now request Professor Dr. Sucheta Priyavadini to deliver a talk and educate us on digital divide in gender space.
Thank you so much. I must welcome Madam Sucheta for the talk on the second season and second episode. You must have heard the work we are doing in a small city like Bhubaneswar, but our reach is far-reaching. And this particular topic, human right, is a subject of United Nations Organization. And initially it was a theoretical subject. However, it is now entering into the society as well as in the corporate houses. Very recently, last month, I was invited by Birla Copper, Dahej, to have a workshop on human rights. And when I interacted with the corporate delegates there, I came to know that the stock exchanges, particularly the Dow Jones Stock Exchange, they have an index, that is Dow Jones Sustainability Index, where they are say inserted many parameters from the human rights. For example, how many toilets you have in the factory, what is the distance between two toilets, that kind of. So, which was covered in the 30 basic human rights which has been given by United Nations Organization. So, when we say teacher or we professors are advocating for the human rights, we are going by the definition, and these are the 30 rights the human should avail, or any employee should avail in the organization. But very say practical way of converting these 30 rights to the say factory say ecosystem. So that was a new lesson for me. And after returning from say the Birla Copper Dahej, then I put my thought process how this can be, say, implemented in governance. Now, after returning, we apply because we are, say, AI teacher and AI researcher.
Yes.
So we put our brain how we can utilize the AI into the governance and human rights part. So I wrote an essay on these, say AI governance and human rights, and communicated to few publishing houses. And to my surprise, very next day, immediately the publisher like Inder Science came forward, and he accepted my proposal to launch a journal. So
Oh,
we are very fortunate to lead this area of International Journal of Artificial Intelligence Governance and Human Rights.
women.
And from 2025 January, it will be launched. So
Mhm.
I personally welcome you to contribute a chapter, contribute an article to the inaugural issue.
Yeah,
And
sure.
you might be knowing or not, the first season, whoever has delivered the talk, and Professor Francesco has told that the contribution of India to the human rights journey. So we are bringing out a volume out of this. So that's all I want to convey, and we are waiting for your valuable talk, madam.
Thank you. I mean, Professor Vigliario, he'll not be present today.
Vigliarolo, yes.
Vigliarolo.
He is supposed to join. Now it is early 7 a.m. in Argentina.
Okay.
Sometimes he join,
He
and
will-
and he is suffering from some bronchitis disease. So
I too.
yeah,
I too. I mean, he'll have to bear with me because of my sore throat.
sure, ma'am.
Okay, let's start then.
Yes.
Yes,
Let
ma'am.
me share the screen.
Yes, madam. I have made you the co-host. You can share your screen.
Yeah. Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
So let me just do it. F5. Where is F5? 765. Okay. I'm not even. Okay. Now let's start. Okay. Very good afternoon to all of you. Am I audible?
Just a bit. You can enlarge the screen.
Am I
while-
audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible. If you can make full screen, it would be really
So
nice.
below,
Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am, you
yes.
are audible.
So press the last button on the bottom where
Yeah.
it is written notes. After notes, the fourth icon you press, it will enlarge.
Oh, no, I couldn't hear it. It stopped. I couldn't hear anything. What did you tell? Yes. The first one, like normal.
No, the next one, next to next,
Okay.
fourth one,
Completing
fourth one.
slideshow. So
Yes,
it will
Yes,
ma'am, yes, ma'am.
automatically go.
Slideshow.
yes,
Okay.
yes,
This one?
Yes, ma'am, slideshow.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
Thank you. I forgot, and after COVID, I mean, not very many times I have done this digital, this online one, so I've forgotten this.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you, Mrs. Soma Mitra, Registrar IIMT, for introducing me. Professor Francisco Vigliarolo, he'll be joining later. And Professor Srikant Patnaik, he has mentioned about this international seminar. So surely I'll contribute for this international seminar. And Professor Pramod Kumar Prusti, Principal IIMT, who has introduced IIMT to the world. I mean, if it is in the YouTube, so he is introducing to the world. Now let me start my presentation. When we talk of digital technology, artificial intelligence, cyber security, etc., we realize that while technology is a great solution provider, it also has its share of challenges. All of us know it. My perspective on today's discussion would be mainly based on the kind of access women have to digital technology and services and whether there exists a level playing field or is there a gender gap in the digital technology. So that's what I'm going to tell you about the digital divide in gender space. Now, all of us know that after pandemic has made an unexpected shift from an analog to virtual space. And it has forced the society to embrace technology and digital resources for most of our activities. Whatever we are doing nowadays, most of it is on virtual. This digital transformation has opened up new avenues for economic empowerment through internet, mobile phones, digital platforms, etc. Now, e-commerce, then digital finances also. The question here is, are women equal stakeholder in technology that is rising, upswing, or are they underrepresented? That's the question. Now, various studies done on subject would suggest that gender disparity inhibits adequate access of digital resources to women. Digital technology and innovation have profoundly transformed societies worldwide, revolutionizing economies, governance, and social structures. By reducing transaction cost, improving productivity, fostering economic growth, and increasing transparency, digitization has empowered citizens and bolstered democratic governance. Now, information and communication technology, ICT, also offer an unprecedented opportunities to address global challenges, including economic inequalities and human rights violations. ICTs enable marginalized communities, particularly women, to participate in the global economy and access vital services. However, significant disparities persist, particularly regarding gender, where access to and utilization of digital technologies remains skewed. Now, coming to this global area, globally, women are underrepresented in the digital space, largely due to socio-cultural barriers, affordability, lack of education, and unequal access to infrastructure. The UNESCO 2021 report highlights women in low and middle income countries are 20% less likely than men to own a smartphone and 52% less likely to use mobile internet. Moreover, while digital transformation is heralded as a driver of economic inclusion, women's participation remains limited, both as consumers and creators of digital innovation. In India, a country advancing rapidly towards a digital economy, the gender digital divide mirrors global trends. Despite government initiatives such as Digital India and programs promoting digital literacy, only 46% of Indian women have access to the internet compared to 57% of men, according to GSMA 2023. This gap is not just a technological or economic issue, it is deeply rooted in structural inequalities and human rights concerns. For instance, digital access is tied to fundamental rights, including education, employment, and the freedom of expression. The digital revolution has transformed the society, of course, offering unparalleled opportunities to enhance productivity, transparency, and governance. However, while these advancements have propelled economic and social development, the benefits are not evenly distributed. A critical question emerges: are women equal stakeholders in this digital transformation? all of us should question, ask the women. The persistent gender digital divide not only inhibit women's access to technology, but also curtails their economic empowerment and social participation. Now, all of you know about Audrey Azoulay, Director General of UNESCO. What she said on March 8, 2019 is mentioned. Apart from that, she has aptly said the digital divide is not just about access to technology, but access to opportunities. Bridging this gap is essential for achieving gender equality in our increasingly digital world. I have prepared 9 slides in this presentation, and we will explore this gender digital divide, its manifestations, root causes, and the transformative potential of bridging this gap. Incidentally, the pictures you will see in all my slides are paintings done by me. Some are from recent art exhibition in October this year. While the exhibition, it had only 200 visitors in a span of 5 days on the digital space on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, web page, etc. It had about maybe 20,000 plus visitors. So this again explains the reach and dominance of digital era. So nowadays it's all on the Facebook, Twitter, all related to a digital, you can say digital era. Then what are the barriers for this gender divide in this digital space? The root cause of this divide are structural inequalities, I have already mentioned, social cultural norms, and affordability challenges. For example, rural women in India face even greater barriers, such as limited access to affordable devices and data. And these disparities highlight urgent need for targeted interventions, create equitable access to digital tools. According to a report prepared by Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development 2018, the road ahead is quite challenging. Worldwide, some 327 million fewer women than men have a smartphone and can access the mobile internet. Women are underrepresented in ICT jobs, top management, and academic careers. Now, people will say that no, many women are there in IT sectors, but it's like a opposite pyramid. They are not very many in the top sector, in the top managerial sector. Now, that is the problem. The reports find that hurdles to access, affordability, lack of education, as well as inherent biases and socio-cultural norms curtail women's ability to benefit from the opportunities offered by the digital transformation. So then comes your access and affordability. Globally, women are 19% less likely than men to use the internet, and the regions such as sub-African area, sub-Saharan Africa, this gap widens to 37% as per ITU 2023. Limited access to affordable devices and data remains a significant barrier. Women in rural and marginalized communities face additional challenges due to poor infrastructure and the high cost technology. The International Telecommunication Union, ITU, in its measuring the information society, measuring it report of 2013 places India in the category of the world's least connected countries based on a composite measure of ICT access, ICT use, and ICT skills. The Intel Women and the Web Study 2013 found that while 8.4% of Indian women and 11.6% of Indian men are online, there is a weighted gender gap of 27%, meaning thereby that women in India is 27% less likely to have internet access than men. Similarly, studies by GSMM Development Fund and the Cherry Blair Foundation revealed that only 28% of Indian women own a mobile phone compared with 40% of men. A report in 2012 by Women and Web revealed that 1 in 5 women in India thought internet usage to be inappropriate, non-beneficial, and something that their families would disapprove of. Further, 40% of women in this study expressed, I did a research, I did a survey on this, study expressed discomfort or a lack of familiarity as a reason for not using the internet. Even if they had access, they don't use. Similarly, a recent Google study found that of the 28 Indian women survey, 49% saw no reason to use the internet. Another survey conducted in semi-rural Madhya Pradesh revealed a similar trend. Majority of the women who own a mobile did not know how to operate it. Why? Because they do not know. They are illiterate. Textual literacy they don't have. The implication of the gender digital divide extend beyond individual access to technology. On a global scale, women are again 27% less likely than men to have internet access. The global internet gender gap widened from 11% in 2013 to 12% in 2016, as per UNESCO's report in 2017. Such disparities reflect deeper socio-economic inequalities that hinder progress. Then comes your socio-cultural norms and safety concerns. We have patriarchal society, so they have norms continue to dictate women's access to technology, particularly in conservative societies. Informal restrictions by families and communities often discourage women from using digital devices, fearing exposure to inappropriate content or influence. Additionally, online harassment, trolling, and cyber violence disproportionately affect women, creating an unsafe digital environment. A global study by Amnesty International 2020 found that 38% women who used social media experienced abuse or harassment, curbing their willingness to engage in online platforms. Then patriarchal restrictions limit women's mobility and access. Nowadays, the cybercrime more, sexual harassment online, it has increased. So maybe because of that, they have that fear, the women, they have that fear of using online quite often. Then they have this technophobia. Mindset are another factor contributing to the ICT gender gap. Due to lack of exposure, women become reluctant to access and use ICTs. In a study commissioned by Intel Corporation, this phenomena is described as technophobia. As a report from Intel Corporation in 2012. According to CIA et al., women report less confidence in their technical expertise. They lack confidence in that and more negative attitudes about technology than men. Then skill and educational gaps. The digital divide is also rooted in educational disparities. Women's lower enrollment in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics fields limits their ability to excel in digital economy. For instance, UNESCO 2022 reports that women account for only 35% of STEM graduates globally, while in India, this figure drops to 29%. So, limited digital literacy further aggravates the gap, preventing women from fully leveraging ICTs for economic and social empowerment. Then, economic barriers, women's limited participation in the workforce, and their concentration in low wage jobs restrict their financial ability invest in technology. Report by GSMA 2023 indicate that gender gaps in employment and income significantly impact women's access to smartphones and mobile or internet uses. Then exclusion, as I mentioned at the top level, not more women are there in the decision making. Women are underrepresented in ICT jobs, tech entrepreneurship, and leadership roles in the digital economy. Globally, only 28% of managerial positions in the tech sector are held by women, as per World Economic Forum 2023. This lack of representation also reflects in the design of digital products policies, which often fail to address women's specific needs. Now, key question is, are women equal stakeholders in this digital transformation? It's not moving. It's not moving the slide. Yeah, thank you. Then we have to do, after a certain survey and all, it's a comparative analysis globally, representation of women and India specific. The bar chart illustrates the disparity in internet access and mobile phone ownership between men and women, both globally and within India. Global data, 27% less. Then global internet gender gap grew from 11% in 2013 to 12% in 2016. India specific data is only 28% of women in India own mobile phones, 40% of men. Rural women in India face even greater barriers, limited access to affordability. This highlights a persistent gender gap in digital access, particularly in developing nations, driven by socio-cultural norms, affordability issue, and lack of digital literacy. The line chart here shows how closing the gender gap in technology correlates with GDP growth. McKinsey Global Institute estimates that closing the gender gap in technology could add 12 trillion US dollar to global GDP by 2025. Countries with higher gender equity in technology see increased innovation, better team performance, and higher profit. Profit is more. The more equitable access women have to digital tools, education, and economic participation, the greater the overall economic output. Gender equity fosters an environment where talent and potentials are maximized across the population. Now, what are the opportunities we have in digital space for women? While the challenges are significant, the digital era presents transformative opportunities for women. What are they? Economic empowerment or financial inclusion. Digital skills empower women to participate in e-commerce, start tech-based business, and enter the IT BPO sector, which is a major employer for women. The digital economy can provide women with a means of earning a living, even if they are otherwise excluded from the traditional labor markets. This is especially true for those in the developing world, where cultural bias, mobility restrictions, security, and time limitations often prevent women from taking their rightful places in the workforce. The key benefit of digital economy is that it allows and encourages remote working where gender may not matter as much as in physical economy. It opens up a world of opportunities for women in poor countries. Digital transformation has opened up new avenues for economic empowerment. Internet, mobile phones, digital platforms, e-commerce, digital financial services, IT, BPO sector offer phenomenal, employment and income opportunities. New jobs are also emerging through mobile platforms such as ride share app, domestic services, or food couriers, etc. All of us know that. From an economic perspective, as I mentioned earlier, closing the gender gap in technology could add 12 trillion US dollar to global GDP by 2025, as estimated by McKinsey Global Institute. The social and political empowerment. Access to digital platform enables women to challenge traditional gender roles and advocate for their right, as it was the campaign like Me Too have shown how social media can amplify women's voices and create solidarity across borders. Similarly, women in restricted societies have used online platforms to access education and participate in public discourse. Skill development employment, ICT-enabled education programs have shown significant potential in improving women's skill employability. For instance, the Internet Sathi initiative by Google and Tata Trust has trained over 30 million rural women in India to use the internet for education and livelihood opportunities. Case studies like initiative like Palestinian ICT training program reported that 96% of participating women experience increased self-confidence. In India, women-led enterprises grew by 35% in 2022 as per NASCOM 2023. Then health and welfare, digital health services, particularly telemedicine and mobile health apps have been instrumental in addressing gender disparities in healthcare center access. Women in remote areas can now access consultation, maternal care, and information on reproductive health through digital platforms. So many apps are there in the market nowadays. Then comes to gender intervention. First is barriers, then comes your opportunities. Then what are the interventions required for this bridging this gap? Government should implement large-scale digital literacy programs targeting women and girls, especially in rural areas. STEM education for women needs to be prioritized through scholarship, mentorship program, and awareness campaigns, improving accessibility and affordability, subsidize digital devices and data plans for women in low-income households can bridge affordability gaps. Expanding broadband infrastructure to rural areas is critical to reducing urban-rural disparities. I have seen, yesterday I saw in LinkedIn that it will be free for every human being. In India, this internet, I don't know whether it will be implemented or not, but it is there in the LinkedIn that government wants to do it. Then expanding broadband infrastructure to rural areas is critical to reducing urban-rural disparities. Enhancing online safety, government must establish robust legal frameworks to address cyber violence and ensure women's safety online. Platforms should adopt gender-sensitive policies, including stronger moderation and reporting mechanisms for abuse, representation, inclusion. Women must be included in tech design and policy-making processes to ensure their needs are addressed. All the companies should adopt gender diversity targets for leadership roles in the ICT sectors. Now, leveraging public-private partnership. Partnership between government, private sectors, and NGOs can create inclusive digital ecosystem. Initiative like e-Seva in India demonstrate potential of such collaboration. Coordinated policy action is necessary for raising awareness and tackling gender stereotypes, enabling enhanced, safer, and more access to digital tools, stronger cooperation across stakeholders to remove gender barriers, to women's full participation in the digital world. Technology developers must first ask what technology do women need to increase their economic opportunities, and then they must involve women as technology innovators, developers, and drivers of the process to design something that women will afford. Conscious efforts would be necessary in supporting female students in further and higher education, offering mentoring and networking opportunities, and promoting opportunities in the industry for them. Then comes human rights. From a human rights perspective, gender equality is the key to progressive economy that provides sustainable and inclusive growth. Recognizing the importance of gender equality, G20 leaders in their 2014 Brisbane summit set an ambitious goal to reduce the gender gap in the labor market participation by 25% by 2025 and committed to implementing a set of policies to improve the quality of women's employment and provision of support services. Access to digital technology is increasingly viewed as a fundamental right. The United Nations SDG goal, especially 5, SDG 5 goal is to reach empowerment of women through ICT by 2030. Enhance the use of enabling technology, in particular, information and communication technology to promote the empowerment of women. Ensuring equal opportunities in the digital space is a cornerstone of human rights and social justice. Then, what are the key takeaways? Bridging the digital gender divide is essential for economic growth and human rights. Coordinated action needed across policy, education, and technology sectors. Empower women as digital innovators and leaders. Foster an inclusive digital ecosystem for a better future toward an inclusive digital economy. Bridging the gender digital divide is a strategic imperative for equity and growth. Coordinated action in education, infrastructure, and policy is essential. Women's full participation can drive innovation and reduce inequalities. As it is said, when women thrive, the world prospers. Then bridging the gender digital divide is not just a matter of equity, but also a strategic imperative for sustainable economic growth and human rights. As technology reshapes the global economy, inclusive digital policies can unlock new opportunities for women, driving innovation and reducing inequality. Achieving gender parity in digital space requires coordinated action across education, infrastructure, and cultural change. With women comprising nearly half of the world's population, that full participation in the digital economy is essential for realizing the vision of an equitable and prosperous global society. Access to affordable broadband is a citizen right. Community digital libraries present a possible option where low-cost tablets preloaded with content can be lent. Citizen information centers can be located in cultural and religious spaces. Access by women, digital literacy, skill development, and recreation can be packaged into media centers for urban and rural poor women and girls. There is an urgent imperative for the development of a robust legal framework that adequately addresses the interlinkages between the right to privacy and freedom of expression in the information society context. To tackle gender-based violence in the context of ICTs, it is necessary to review the existing ICT laws and policies from a gender perspective, and a debate is initiated on the need for a comprehensive regulatory framework that addresses VAW, violence against women, as a national priority. Public policies to promote women's ICT-enabled enterprises must be backed by efforts which aim at enabling supportive microeconomic environment for SMEs, as well as interventions at the micro level to support an entrepreneurial culture among women owners of SMEs. India is a nation with 69.8 of total population living in rural areas. With such rural population, government is required to make concrete efforts for the development of rural areas. Undoubtedly, Government of India has made considerable efforts like Digital India campaigns initiated in 2015 to reduce the digital divide, and ICT has proved to be a tool for its successful implementation. Our effort should be aligned to create an equitable digital future, a future where women's participation fuels innovation, reduces inequality, and ensures that no one is left behind. Thank you very much. I don't know how much time I have taken, but thank you. Thanks a lot. Stop.
Thank you, madam. I hope Professor Patnaik want to say something.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, madam, for the excellent talk. We invite the full article to be included in the as a chapter. So I'll request you just add because you are working in one of the women university and your university's contribution towards this disparity. How you are working towards that? That will be really really the what you can say benefit out of the lecture series we are conducting, so that the awareness has been implemented in one of the university we can claim. So that is my
that can be.
Yes.
I'll get the data
Yes.
up to now what has been done.
So one section you can add.
Sure.
Like department, student, how you are encouraging girl student to take off this one.
Yes.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Over to Soma.
Thank you, madam. And it was really very inspiring listening to you. You have made the things very nicely being put down in the mind of all the women. And especially you made us think once more that whether really this digital gender divide is essential for economic growth and human rights, and whether we women can get a glimpse about it. You have given us a very nice takeaways that coordinated actions are needed across policy, education, and technology sectors. And a very wonderful thought also you have given us that when women thrive, the world prospers. And with that beautiful quote or with that beautiful line, let's end our today's session. Thank you, madam, and thank you to all our participants for joining this session. Thank you, madam.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.